Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel, to my live reaction, to my instant reaction and player ratings live stream following Cardiff City 1, Chelsea 3 in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Chelsea are now in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, with our semi-finalist opponents only being decided tomorrow. But at the end of the day, a lot of drama going on at Chelsea right now, but somehow it did not cause a distraction, at least not enough of a distraction to cause us to lose the game. Not a great start, a completely changed 11, which we will get into and talk about in just a minute's time. But in the end, it kind of all worked out because we rotated everybody. And then we made sure in the second half we didn't win the game. We didn't win. We didn't lose the game. We didn't bottle the game. So, yeah, in the end, really all worked out brilliantly. And even Maresca was able to prove his point that the quality and depth of his squad is simply nowhere near good enough. Not that we didn't already know this, right? Let's not pretend. But, you know, it was just another very clear, very obvious sign. But yeah, a much, much better second half after a pretty poor first half. Garnacho puts us 1-0 up. They actually equalised following a mistake from Gusto, who came off the bench, letting his man go and giving him an easy free header to equalise. But it didn't last very long. Pedro Neto very shortly after a lovely team goal, making it 2-1. And just before the very end, Garnacho making it a double for himself off the bench in the second half, making it 3-1 and making it look more comfortable than frankly it was. And to be honest, we'll look at the stats later. The stats also arguably make it look more comfortable than it was, which is interesting. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for everybody that has tuned in already. If you know your mates, give them a call, tell them to tune in as well. Your brothers, your sisters, you know, everybody you know. Get them involved. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Namgyao? Assume that's your name. Just going to call you Nam. First half was shit. Second half was good. Still lots to improve. Pedro Neto is class. Namgyal also says, I hope City, Arsenal both lose their matches. I mean, so do I. So do I. But let's see how things go. And Ricky, welcome back. Ricky, appreciate you always tuning in, mate. He says Pedro Neto is so underrated. And yeah, Pedro Neto goes through stages. Honestly, sometimes I underrate him. And then sometimes I'm like everybody else underrate him. It's just a bit unclear. Buonanotte as well had the most, I don't know, man, hot and cold game of football I've rarely ever seen. Like in the first half, I don't want to jump ahead too much because we'll obviously speak about Buonanotte when we get to him in the player ratings. But honestly, in the first half, I thought worst player I've ever seen. But not necessarily that he's incapable of playing football. He's clearly a decent footballer, technically very good. But it's just so physically, so far off what you need to be a professional footballer in England. It's a little bit of a joke. I need to change my picture here. It's a little bit of a joke. And honestly, he seemed like a 12-year-old in the first half. But in the second half, he turned it up. Should have had an assist or two. Had an assist in the end for Garnacho. So, did all right, the guy. Did all right. Can't moan at him too much, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. What I will show you in just a second's time is that we will get into the lineup that we turn up with today, because it has certainly been interesting. But I will also say, shout out to myself one more time. Check out mine and Pice's podcast. Link is down in the description, called Chelsea Unfiltered. And I completely nailed the starting 11, with one exception. I thought Estevao would start. And not only did he not start, he wasn't even in the squad. So I don't really know what's gone on there. I don't know if there was an explanation that I missed or something, but I haven't seen anything yet as to why Estevao wasn't in the squad. But otherwise, this is the team I expected. I expected 11 changes. And other than Tyreek George instead of Estevao, this is the team I thought that the manager would go with, if I'm being honest. Of course, well, I say of course. Jorgensen in goal, who did a job today. Fair play to him. Hato coming in at left back, but not necessarily fully planned because Kukurea was suspended, which nobody knew about. At least I didn't know about it. But yeah, Hato came in. Badiashile toasted at centre back. Josh Achampong playing right back. Caicedo and Andre Santos in midfield. Caicedo, of course, the only usual starter in the team today. Of course, after missing 3 Premier League games with suspension, including last week against Everton. Very much fresh and very much available to play. Jamie Getters left wing. Tyreek George, surprisingly, the right wing. Again, no idea what's going on with Estevao. Is he ill? Is he injured? My prediction would be that he's ill, if I'm being honest. And to be frank, that's the Brazilian kid's first winter in Europe. First winter in the UK. I wouldn't put it past him to be ill. It's nothing. No, you can't blame him for being ill once. Do you know what I mean? Buonanotte, obviously, we touched on. And Mark Guiu started up front. Didn't last up front very long. Was taken off eventually. But there you go. Dylan says, I'm glad we won today. It's now down to either Man City or Brentford for who we play in the semi-final. Yeah, well, oh wait, has that part been drawn? We play either City or Brentford. Well, that's not going to be easy, is it? To any fan that thinks we have a great squad depth, you clearly have no brain cells. And you saw how average it is there with 11 changes against a League One team. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to elaborate a little bit in a second, my thoughts on all of this. Mazza says, couldn't tell which team were in the Prem first half and second half. We got a gift and do decent finishes, job done. I could pick at this game all night, but actually no energy after that display. Yeah, fair enough. We definitely did good, giving Anderson time to play. I thought Estevao would start. Counter is in double digits now. Yeah, it kind of is, Grant. It took me a second to understand what you said. Sorry, guys, it's late. And my brain doesn't function properly anymore. Clown Leg put this average squad together. They're criminals and should be arrested for crimes against the top club. Now, I have something interesting to talk to you guys about. Because this is going to be fun. I've bookmarked something during the game. I saw a tweet, and I'll bring it up now, by Just Chelsea. Look at this. This was our B team last season. This was our B team. Now, okay, you can swap out Madueke and Neto. Put Madueke in for Neto and make that the B team, right? While Neto and Sancho were the A team, with Palmer as the 10, and obviously Jackson up front. Look at what we had. Like, I'm not saying we should have this all the time, but we had this last year when we were in a conference league. When having this, all it did was cause problems. When we could actually do with that, they completely took the squad apart. And, well, we're noticing. We're noticing. I mean, we went from this to, let me show you once again, to that. Gittins, Buonanotte on loan, Tyreek George out of position, and a 19 or 18-year-old Marguiu. I mean, what the flip? What the flip? Last year was Mudryk, Madueke, let's say, Nkunku, and João Felix. Again, I'm not saying that was great. I'm not saying that's what we should aim for. But this season, that type of squad, that type of front line, that type of depth, this season, that would have made sense. Last season, it was just an inconvenience, if we're being totally honest. So, there you go. We'll look at some stats in a second. I'll get into this one more time by Mazza. And to RC as well. First of all, yes, the 11 changes. You see how average it is. But I will also tell you, it would not have been so pretty and so much easier had we turned out with our best team. Now, of course, in the second half, you could tell Garnacho came on, Pedro came on, Pedro Neto came on. Things got better. We found it easier, of course. But these types of games, and especially, RC with your point in terms of it's just so average. Yes, it is. I don't disagree. But let's also not just put every averageness that we saw today only down to the players. And no, not down to the manager either, but just the occasion. This is Cardiff City's biggest game in 6-7 years at the very least, They are right up for that. I mean, all their players are interviewed beforehand, these are the games you dream of. This is where you become a football fan, like cup final levels, It was only a quarterfinal, but cup final levels. These games, no matter who you are, no matter who you're playing against, are difficult. Whether you like that or not, it's a fact. These games are difficult. They're never, ever easy. And at the end of the day, we came through it. We absolutely came through. RC says, Buddy should be playing for Burnley and Gittins as well, but somehow they're at a club like ours. Beggars belief, and Buonanotte should be playing in the Championship as he's that level. Honestly, I don't think he's Championship level. I think he is technically, he's very easily Premier League level. Very comfortably. But physically, he's under 12s. And that's a terrible, terrible combination. Honestly, I think he'd have an even worse time in the Championship than he does in the Prem, if I'm being totally honest with you. Hello, mate. I hope you're well. It says, I haven't been here in a while. Well, yeah, you haven't. So shame on you, frankly. But nice if you tune in when we get a dub. Is the kind of guy, no one really likes him. But he's kind of like the type of guy that turns up when we lose. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm here again for shit that we lost, huh? He's a proper Chelsea fan, though. I can't even put anything past him. But it's just got terrible humour. It's just got shocking humour. So, appreciate you, for tuning in, though. So, that is that. But let me bring up FOTMOB quickly, and let's look at some stats from an overall perspective. Of course, guys, it's 11:30 my time. I'm not going to keep this going for too crazy long. I've got work in the morning. I want to go to sleep at some point. So I'm not going to sit here for 3.5 hours, but of course, we got to look at it. Of course, we scored 57th minute, 82nd minute, and then 93rd, with their equalizer coming in between in the 75th minute. We look at the stats. In the end, we even had more possession. Funnily enough, stat for you there. Some of you might not be aware of this. Cardiff are the team with the highest average possession in all of Europe. It's kind of crazy. Now, that's obviously because they're a championship level team with a Pep Guardiola type manager playing in League One. But even still, and in the first half, let me look. Actually, I thought they had more possession than us in the first half. That's how the commentator made the team anyway. But look how little XG we had in the first half. Still more than Cardiff. But look how much it was in the second half. Bloody hell, 2.29 in one half. You'll take that. It's a decent half. But overall, you can't murder that. More possession. Clearly, like 2 whole goals extra in XG. Double the shots. Almost double the shots on target. 5 big chances created compared to their 1 that we let them have. I mean, yeah, we controlled them. Of course, the first goal that we scored was a complete gift from them. Yes, but you have to take those gifts. You know, sometimes you get gifts and you don't take them. Do you know what I mean? Like we have done in the past. So you got to do what you got to do. One word says, Laurenz, how are you doing, man? I'm doing great. Maresca. I kind of have a funny feeling that Maresca wholesale repeated total rotation principle of his team will be what will cost him his job at Chelsea. No, unfortunately, one verse, you are completely off the mark there, because it is actually the club that really wants Maresca to rotate. Maresca would arguably probably like to rotate less than he does. But the club are telling him, rotate. Part of what has caused Maresca's outrage here is the fact that the above have a go at him for essentially playing Cucurella, for example, against Atalanta. For playing Cucurella, for example, against Leeds. They want more rotation. That is part of where this issue currently is coming from. Maybe we need to talk about this. Shall we talk about this before we get into the game? Because later on, I probably can't be bothered anymore, if I'm being totally honest. So let me see if there is already anything to like highlight, because would anything make sense already? Maybe not. He hasn't spoken to anyone in the hierarchy since his comment. Due to a small muscle problem. That's what Estevao had. That is very interesting. Well, we will look back at some more quotes later, but just to get to the conversation, I'll bring this up. Maresca said, anything I do is just because I want the best for this club, for the fans, and for everyone. Tonight, I think the focus has to be on us reaching the semi-finals. The support from the fans since day one has always been there. He's again basically saying the support from other people has not been there. Now, of course, guys, I haven't spoken about it on the channel. We started speaking about it in hints. Well, actually, we did speak about it on the channel in the post-match reaction, but then it was very fresh and we didn't really know what to make of the situation. Link to my episode with Pys talking about this on our podcast is down in the description below. A new episode will be out probably on the weekend. Probably not going to do a special one for this. But yeah, Enzo Maresca essentially called out the club. Called out, in particular, Benedict Barley. I have it on good authority, let's call it. It's not about the sporting directors. It's certainly not the fans or the media. It's Benedict Barley that he had an issue with, or has an issue with. And yeah, obviously he said what he said. He came out and stood by what he said. He was given the opportunity to clarify, to explain. He said, I said what I had to say. And he left it at that. And I really just don't know how to feel about it. Guys, how do you feel about the whole thing? Because I don't really know. On the one hand, I really like that he's like fighting back and not like taking any bollocks. If he's like, you know, if they had a go at him for the Leeds game or for the Atalanta game, I'm like, guys, give him a good squad then. We just looked at the B squad, the B attack we had last year compared to this year. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And plus, on top of that, the Club World Cup situation. And no preseason. So, like, Maresca is doing fantastic. So, I don't know why anybody's having a go. In particular, Mr. Igbali, who is the guy literally at fault for us not having a better squad. You know, main guy in fault for that is him. So, I just find this whole a little bit of a mistake. But I will also say, now, Maresca, what he's saying here, anything he does is for the best of the club. I don't really know what he's trying to achieve with making these comments. Like, I back him in the comments, and I do not want us to get rid of Enzo Maresca anytime soon. But I don't understand what he's trying to achieve. It like, slightly confuses me. Because you're not going to win a war of words with the owner of the club, mate. So I don't really like, if it was an issue with the sporting directors, I would understand. And maybe it would be like a power struggle below the owner, like Maresca trying to get more power than the sporting directors and becoming the next guy to Eghbali. I could see the logic in that at least. But that's not what happened. So, yeah, it's just having a go at Eghbali, and I'm not really sure how it's flying. But I've had one theory, and it's very much a theory. I do not have this on good authority. This is purely my theory, and it's 99.9% guaranteed wrong. But imagine, now think about this, guys. Hear me out. Imagine if this whole ploy is the most genius PR stunt football has ever seen. Because from one day to another, the Chelsea fan base went from Maresca out, he's shit, fuck him, championship manager, to the most support I've seen. Well, it's not been that long because Thomas Tuchel, of course. But other than Thomas Tuchel, give me a second. Other than Thomas Tuchel, it feels like no Chelsea manager has got support like this since Jose Mourinho. Conte, I guess, but there was less support in the second half of the season. So, and of course, that was only online yesterday. We got to say that as well. That was only online. On that note, maybe I can actually find some nice pictures. Did they post any pictures already? The boys. Well, there he is. There is the guy. That didn't look too fucking buzzing there, did he? There he is. There he is. Very happy. He got serenaded by the fans, by the away fans. So big up the away fans. Love them. Big fan. And I absolutely love that they backed him. But like I say, I'm still not quite sure what he's trying to achieve. Like I say, unless it's a media ploy, a PR ploy, to just get the fans, because everybody hates the ownership and the sporting directors anyway. No matter what PR thing comes out, we're not going to hate them any more than we already do, right? But the support for Maresca is literally like flipped on its head. Is honestly an under-exaggeration. Like, it's crazy how much support he's gotten in the last few days. And according to reports, his job isn't under scrutiny immediately anyway. Now, it could happen that he just leaves in the summer, parts ways, mutual consent. The club don't want to extend with him. He doesn't want to stay anyway. That could be. And if that happens, I'll be sad because I find it pointless. But if it's a media ploy, a PR ploy, genius. Absolute genius. But until we hear more, until anything more dramatic comes out of it, I leave it at that. And I leave it at Maresca being an eccentric Italian. I'll leave it at that and I'll put it to that. But let's get into these player ratings, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We start off with Philip Jørgensen, the goalkeeper. Of course, he did good today. If I'm honest, he made 4 saves. He prevented not a lot, but he made some good saves anyway. There was one save at the near post, got deflected by Caicedo. How he got his fingertips on that, genuinely beyond me. He also commanded his box quite well, started a few counter-attacks quite nicely. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty happy with it. I'll give good old Jørgensen a 7.5. I don't think you can blame him at all for the goal that we conceded. So, because of that, 7.5 I'll give him. I could do 7, but I feel like considering the guy never plays, I think he's done all right. Sometimes I just wish we have a more urgent approach from the start, not just the last 20 minutes. While I get that, and it does happen kind of often, but I feel like this season we have a bit of an excuse for this with the Club World Cup stuff. We just don't have the same levels of energy as other teams do. We just don't. Just have to admit that we don't. And, motivation, getting into it, sometimes takes a little while. I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like it's part of it. Big Benoit Badiashile did all right. I don't really remember him doing anything particularly good or bad. Cleared what he had to clear. 63 out of 67 passes. 2 out of 5 long balls. Had a tackle, 6 clearances, 3 headed clearances, 4 interceptions, 4 recoveries, 1 out of 1 ground duels, 3 out of 3 aerial duels. What more do you want, really? What more can he do? I'll give him a 7. I didn't see him make a mistake, but I don't think it was great, if I'm honest. But at the same time, yes, I know it's such an average opponent, but you have to beat what you have to beat. And Cardiff essentially had basically no chances other than the goal they scored. And that was unfortunately mostly down to Gusto. I guess Badiashile could have pushed out harder, but also where was Hato? I don't really know. Tosin, he's shocking. He is shocking. 5. And he's lucky he's getting that. Honestly, he's lucky he's getting that. The less said about him, the better. Joseph Champong, very happy. Now, defensively, I'll be 100% honest, guys. Defensively, I wasn't actually that impressed. I really wasn't, as I even got 2 for Tosin. Fair enough. I wasn't that impressed defensively. But offensively, or I should say with the ball, fantastic. Won the most duels in the game with 10. That comes from 5 out of 9 ground duels and 5 out of 8 aerial duels, which is good. 6 recoveries, 2 interceptions, 2 clearances, 4 tackles, which obviously from right back. 1 out of 5 long balls, not too bad. Don't see how he only has 0 out of 2 dribbles, because I felt like he completed every dribble I saw him take, or at least get fouled at the end. Yeah, I'm giving Achiampong a 7. Yeah, I'm taking by the shield down to a 6.5. I don't know what I'm doing, giving such high ratings against a League One team. If I'm being totally honest, I'll take this down, guys. Ignore me. Jurgensen 7, Achiampong 7. I'm happy with that. No, you know what? I'll give Achiampong a 7.5. No, I won't. 7 it shall be. 7 it shall be. Hato gets a 6. I said before the game, I tweeted it even. I was expecting him to be good today, and he was just okay. One verse says, Laurenz, let's say I agree with you regarding the club versus Maresca, plot or play. Tosin is the worst in performance amongst our centre backs. How come Maresca still play him more than Achiampong? How? Well, today, I mean, I get your question, but today that's not the case. Today that is not the case because both played. Now I know Achiampong came off at the end. Yeah, no. Let's not make too big a deal out of it, I would say. But yeah, I asked myself that question as well. But we also have to say, Maresca said himself, when he didn't play him against Leeds, or what was it, Leeds? I think so, that he said it after the fact he got it wrong and he regrets not playing Achiampong. What more can I ask for? Do you know what I mean? What more can I ask for? And you got to hear squad politics as well. You know, you got to keep the squad happy. Tosin is the most experienced player in this, well, the oldest player in the team anyway, outside of Raheem Sterling. He's the oldest player in the team, but somehow he went from being 27 last year to being 36 this year, because he's now absolutely awful. So, yeah, on Jared Hato, I literally have nothing to say. I wish I would. There was a couple of nice moments that he adds, but there was also a couple of dodgy moments, and defensively just doesn't see it, if I'm honest. But yeah, 1 out of 1 dribbles, which is nice. Only attempted 1 long ball, didn't complete it. 2 tackles, 2 clearances. 2 headed clearances, 4 in total. 4 out of 5 ground duels, though, to be fair. Shall I give him a 6.5? He didn't do anything wrong, I suppose. So I'll give him a 6.5. I'll be nice. Okay? I'll be nice. Because defensively, we were all right. We were all right. Now, Moise Caicedo, I usually don't put yellow cards here, but today I have to. Today, I have to. That yellow card, not only was it ridiculous, because Hato did factually foul the opposition, and then he sarcastically, ironically applauded the referee and got himself booked as captain. That is the most uncaptain-like thing I've ever seen. But even more so, Moise Caicedo is now suspended for the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Our fucking best player, suspended. For clapping the ref. Are you a moron? Mate, just for that alone, Tosin should play only when we... Yeah, but currently we have to, you know? Like, if you sometimes have to play Achiampong at right back, because you play Gusto and James both in the main team, then you need to play Tosin and Achiampong. I know what you mean, but you need to, you know? Tosin will find better form as well. He was much better last season than he was this season, wasn't he? So let's be honest. But yeah, so Caicedo, I would probably have given him a 7, maybe even a 7.5 otherwise, but he only gets a 6 because of the yellow card. I mean, that is pathetic. Genuinely pathetic behavior. Created the most chances, 4 chances created. The first one in the first half for Marguerite. That was lovely. Did he get an assist? No. But fantastic play to open up the chance for us to score the 2-1 at the time through Pedro Neto. The ball through the lines to Pedro Neto, to João Pedro was unbelievable. So that's why he's still getting a 6, because otherwise I'd be very annoyed at what he pulled off today. Well, it was really good, but it's just like that yellow card really annoyed me. Do you know what I mean? It really did. 1 out of 1 dribbles, 2 out of 3 long balls, 7 out of 8 ground duels. 7 out of 8 ground duels, 2 out of 2 air duels. What am I saying? I'm giving him a 6.5, even though he got the yellow card. But it would have been a 7.5 otherwise, at least. Andre Santos, not his best game, not the most, I don't know, obvious game. I don't know if that's the right word, but not the most standout game, maybe I want to say. But in the end, an assist for the 2-1 for Pedro Neto, which is obviously was the crucial goal because we were drawing 1-1 at that point. So a crucial assist. Had a goal for a decent goal as well, dragged in just right, unfortunately. Kept it simple, nothing too crazy. 39 out of the 46 passes. Created 2 chances. 6 tackles, 7 recoveries, 6 out of 8 ground duels, 1 out of 2 aerial duels. Decent. I'll give him a 6.5 as well. 6.5. Didn't get a stupid yellow, but also doesn't deserve higher than a 6.5, if we're being totally honest. Show you can beat Magpies or get out Maresca. Timmy, fuck off. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Appreciate you for tuning in, though, mate. Let's talk about Facundo Buonanotte. I still love nothing more than the guy's name. I almost want to give him 2 ratings, guys, because he was so bad in the first half. Like I said this earlier. I've never seen a weaker footballer in my whole entire existence. 3 out of 11 ground duels, by the way. I'm sure all 3 of those ones were in the second half. They must have been. He is the weakest footballer I have ever in my whole life set my eyes upon. Truly. Like, he truly is. And when I say he looks like he's playing under 12s, I mean that. Like, even in under 15s, they are more physical. Even in under 15s, they are more physical than that. Genuinely a bit pathetic. But in the second half, he turned up. Should have had an assist for Garnacho. Lovely cross on his weak foot to Garnacho. Took a first-time finish, but the keeper saved it. And then he did assist to Garnacho again, and Garnacho scored it at the time, the 1-0. They celebrated together and everything. The one thing, the thing about Buonanotte and why I feel so bad being so critical and being so harsh and saying he's playing like a 12-year-old is because you can see the guy tries everything he's got. You can see that he has everything he has in him. He gives it every time he gets on the pitch. And he tries everything in every duel. He tries to fight. He tries to run. He tries everything. But he's just so weak. And he's also slow. He's just so small. Like, honestly, like it looks like a 12-year-old playing against adults. Because even though he's got quick feet, he's so slow compared to everybody else with the normally long legs. Like, it's a bit sad, but I actually agree with Mazza. I'll give him a 5.5. Much improved as the game went on. A good second half. Honestly, no, I'll even give him a 6 because I was so impressed and surprised by the second half. I got to give it to him. I absolutely got to give it to him. Tyreek George. F's in the chat for Tyreek George is what I'm saying because he was a trillion times better than Jamie Gittins was in the first half. And somehow it was Tyreek George that got hooked at half time. And Jamie Gittins got put over to the right. It wasn't great, Tyreek George. Don't get me wrong. It was great. His crosses are all shocking. But he was the only one doing something. Gittins was doing nothing. Buonanotte was doing nothing in the first half. Hugh was doing nothing. You know what I mean? George, I'll give him a 5, but this is not too bad. This is really not too bad. Gittins, 4. 3. You know what? I'm not even messing about. He offers nothing more than what we already got in academy. Pointless loan overall. Yep, 100%. Caicedo need to either talk to or see a psychologist. He has been behaving out of character lately. Unnecessary aggression and cards. This was not last season. Cool and calm, Caicedo. Hope everything is okay. I mean, yeah. Honestly, I could also give him a 2. It just feels a 2 is a bit too far off where I put the rest. And yes, he was bad, but he wasn't that much worse than everybody else, is my logic. But let me look at his stats. 21 out of 25 passes. 0 out of 2 shots on target, 0 out of 2 dribbles, 2 tackles, 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 2 recoveries, 2 out of 8 ground duels, 0 out of 2 aerial duels, I want to say. 1 chance created, 0.03 XG, 0.03 expected assists. I'll give it 2.5, all right? I'm not going quite 2. 1 verse, but I'm giving him a 2.5. My God, are you bad? And Mark, I feel a bit bad for it. Again, a little bit like Tyreek George, if I'm being totally honest, because I didn't really feel he was that bad. And I thought João Pedro would come on for Buonanotte. But obviously he didn't, and Buonanotte had a much better second half. So the manager got it spot on once again. But for Gio, I still felt harsh because I didn't think he was doing that badly. Like, he just didn't get any balls. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had how many touches? 20 touches. In that 20 touches, he had 11 passes, all 11 of them accurate. He had 1 shot that was on target. That was the only real chance he had in the first half. He had 2 out of 2 successful dribbles. He had 3 out of 4 ground duels. He had 1 out of 3 aerial duels. Honestly, I'll change my mind. I'll give him a 6. I think he was unjustifiably hooked. Unjustifiably hooked. But now we need to talk about the actual gunmen of this game, because we haven't spoken about any of the people that are any interesting. So I'll take you off. He was taken off at halftime. João Pedro replaced him at the half. Didn't do anything, unfortunately. Well, he played all right, but didn't score. That's what I mean. And then Tyree George came off and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. I'll put him over to that side. And then eventually, Buonanotte was replaced by Malo Gusto. Why is that? But then, 1 second. We'll replace him by Malo Gusto. Augusto, as we should say in French, which I'm not French. So, make of that what you will. That meant Andre Santos pushed higher and Gusto was a bit deeper. Didn't help, though, because Gusto lost this man and we conceded. So that was great. But Gittins was then also taken off for Pedro Neto. Of course. How can I forget about him? Literally scored the most important goal of the night. So, let's talk about Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho is an XG magnet. I don't know why and how he's such an XG magnet, but my God, is he an XG magnet? He just always turns up with it. Like, even if he bottles it sometimes. When was the last time you watched a game where Garnacho didn't do anything? Never had a chance. That doesn't really happen, does it? Do you know what I mean? Like, he had to score 2 goals, created 2 chances, completed 12 out of 12 passes, had 3 out of 5 shots on target. Okay, duels, he had none. 0 out of 1 ground duels and just 0 aerial duels, full stop. But still, 2 goals, 2 chances created, and 12 out of 12 passes. What more than can you want? An absolute man-of-the-match performance off the bench. Absolutely fantastic. Could have scored another. Arguably deserved another. Really good. Really good. Yeah, I mean, you guys know me. If you've paid attention to what I had to say about Garnacho, and I'll get to a couple more of your messages in the chat again in a second. Don't worry, guys. I will be back on them. I said this the whole time. When Garnacho was still a Man United player, I didn't want Garnacho because I was too concerned about the off-pitch drama. Now, so far, and we're on December 16th now, nearly December 17th in 9 minutes on my time, we haven't had any issues. If anything, he's been absolutely fantastic in every way, shape, and form. He's playing well. He's trying hard. He's doing his defensive duties. What more can I ask? I've not heard anything bad coming out of the club or coming out from behind the scenes that he's doing anything that he shouldn't do. He's doing his job, man. He's doing his job. And this is what I was really hoping for. That, João Felix, for example, he didn't really realize that Chelsea was his last chance. And he didn't work. I mean, it was difficult for him with Cole Palmer and Nkunku there as well. It was tough. But he didn't work that extra bit harder to get himself that thing. And at the moment, to me, it feels like Garnacho will. Ricky says, I knew Garnacho would do well at Chelsea. People writing him off before he was even a confirmed signing. Shake my head. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, I wasn't really writing it off as a signing. And it was never for me about the quality. I always thought that Garnacho is a good player, very talented player, and extremely young, and clearly has a lot of potential in him. And it's just a question of, can you channel that potential? And at the moment, it looks like Chelsea and Enzo Maresca can channel that potential. And when you can channel Garnacho's potential, he's a very, very, very good player. He's played smart. Give him that. Could be same result, though, if he started and Gittins came on. Could be. Absolutely. Absolutely. But also realistically not, because Gittins is much worse than Garnacho is and has been all season. And I said this the whole summer. But anyway, Gittins was losing balls to opponents due to his own pressure. Every time he tried to do a dribble, he ended up confusing himself. Yeah, it's a fact. He doesn't know what he's doing. But yeah, I'll give Garnacho a 9. I think you can't ask for more. And that also clearly is the man of the match. So very much deserved. Fantastic performance. We go to Pedro Neto. And on that note, I haven't missed it. Mazza, he says, Neto changed the game for me. Sealed the win. I knew it was calm from there. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was calm from there as well. I will admit, I will agree. But I didn't feel like he changed the game. I feel like it was Garnacho and João Pedro that changed the game, because we had already started to play much better. And Neto only came on in the 65th, 66th minute. And we actually conceded 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. So I'm not saying there's anything Neto did wrong. I'm just saying I don't think he was the guy that changed the game. But he was the guy that won us the game. I agree with that. He definitely was the guy that won us the game with a fantastic finish. Now, he did need the deflection that he took to curl so perfectly into the far bottom corner, but it was still beautiful. I touched on it earlier with Moise Caicedo. The ball to João Pedro. João Pedro with the patience to lay it off to Andre Santos, who played it first time. Pedro Neto, who took it on the right foot and just whacks it. Proper strike, proper technique into the bottom corner. Absolutely brilliant. I feel like I didn't give enough credit to Garnacho's actual goals. So we'll touch it. We'll talk through those in a second as well. But yeah, Neto with an assist as well. With a goal as well. Very good. Gets an 8 with a star. No, I can't do a star. Gets a 0.8. Sorry, that's what we do these days. Obviously, Garnacho got the normal rating because he played the whole half. And Neto only came off the bench. During the second half, João Pedro, of course, also came on at halftime, so gets a normal rating. I'll give him a 7. I still have my issues with him. I really do. No, you know what? I'll actually only give him a 6.5. I still have my issues with the guy. There was 2 situations that maybe 3 where he should have scored again. And he just can't, and he just doesn't. And it's just frustrates me so hard. He did get an assist, though. He did get the assist for the last goal for Garnacho, which was nice. But now I got to give him a 7. I got to give it at least a 7. Got the assist. I forgot about that. And he's good. You know, he helped us change the game. He was physical. He was quick. He was trying. He seemed fresher today than he has done for a few weeks. But he's just not a striker. And he's just not a number 10 either. And he's just another one of these Kai Havertz and Kunku type players that are just good, but not enough, in my opinion. But hey, time can change. He can change. He can win me over. Gusto, I mean, the less said, the better, because he obviously cost us the goal. So I'll give him a 0.5. But, you know, he'd be hoping it was an NA. Now, of course, Chalobah also came on for Acheampong, but it was only the last 2 minutes, so I will not make that change on the screen. Garnacho needs to massively improve his finishing. I mean, he scored 2 bloody goals today, and both of the finishes were absolutely outstanding, by the way. The left foot finish to put it just next to the post in the far opposite corner side netting. Outrageous finish, right between the inside and defender and the goalkeeper. Perfect finish. And the second finish was outrageous as well. But I still agree with your point, though. I still agree with your point. In general, his finishing does let him down sometimes. But, mate, how many 21-year-olds do you know that have perfect finishing? And if you're not saying Haaland and Mbappe or Messi, you're not naming one. You're not finding one. Oh, Rooney and, the crazy ones, right? But you get the point. If you're not a superstar, you're not going to have perfect finishing at 21. Even the superstars, even Ronaldo had nowhere near perfect finishing at 21. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's important to remember. I'll give him a little bit of more benefit of the doubt. I think he's a good player. And if he behaves himself, if he has the right people around him, if he grows up the right amount, I think he can be a great player for us. Andre says, great game. I think more shots need to be taken going forward. Yeah, maybe sometimes, to be fair. Mazza says, this guy is a con artist. João Pedro should be starting these games, not getting rested as number 1. I mean, I agree. But you know who's even worse? Liam Delap. My God. Even though I see more potential to be a real top striker in Liam Delap than I do in João Pedro, if I'm honest. So make of that what you will. Do you know what I mean? So let me just quickly pop over here, open Chelsea Dodgers, and see if the manager has come out with any interesting comments. There's a few. Nothing outrageous, but there's a few. And we will talk about those. Oh, by the way, the Earl's Court development is almost guaranteed not to be us now. So let me get to some quotes by the manager, and then we'll give the manager a rating as well. First of all, it's not a manager quote, it's Pedro Neto. He says, we are Chelsea, we want to win trophies, our mindset is to win all the games. Very good, because someone to win the Carabao Cup. Pedro Neto on making the semi-finals. It's really important. The manager said in the last 18 months, this is the 3rd semi-final we had, so we are really happy with that. We got the win, so we are already looking for the next game. Sometimes we were under control, but sometimes it's the small details that make the difference. Maybe we lost a bit of concentration because we had a lot of corners in the time in the game. And the first time they went up after the corners, they scored. So it was a bit of a lack of concentration, but in the end, we could go through. So we are really happy. It was the concentration. It was the will of winning this game. We wanted a lot to win this game. We wanted to win a lot this game. Okay, sorry. Then we had guys on the pitch who could make the difference, and Ghana today helped us a lot as well with 2 goals. Boy, he did. Boy, he did. And I think now we get a quote from Garnacho. We'll try to compete for everything. And in the semi-finals, the next one. So we'll try to win. That's not a lot, is it? Garnacho, they were a strong team. We weren't focused on which league they're playing. They did a really good job, but we're happy to be in the semi-final. They brought me on and I tried to help the team. Me, Pedro, and the rest of the players did that. We're really happy. As a group, we are doing really well. Sometimes you have to start games. Sometimes you have to help from the bench. We don't focus on this. We just try to help the team. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is where I'm like, this was my concern. And obviously, it's easy to say he scored 2 goals today. Of course, he's going to say nice things in the media. But I kind of believe him, this mindset at the moment. But there you go. Now we're getting to the juicy stuff. This is what I wanted to read about. Enzo Maresca on fans singing his name. I'm happy. We're going to play another semi-final. It's what the fans deserve. It's a great moment. Fans shouting his name. I appreciate it. The support, they have always been there. Well, they haven't always been there. I mean, to be fair, their away support more so. But the home fans haven't certainly always been on his side. But they are now. And it's good. And it won't keep saving his job, though. So I still don't want him to, overdo it. I really don't think she should be overdoing it. Enzo Maresca on fringe players struggling sometimes. They are not playing a lot. They need physical condition and minutes to be there. We were very good off the ball in the second half, but we struggled to create chances. Yeah, okay. And by the way, Estevao has a small muscle problem. He will also miss Newcastle. We will see after that. That's a shame that he's unavailable for Newcastle, of course. But hey, we move. We move. Maybe he's another Neymar and just loves Christmas off. Wait, that's not Neymar that has Christmas off, is it? Oh, there's more quotes. Enzo Maresca on the win. I am happy for the players. It's another semi-final for them and the fans, for everyone. Maresca is asked if he had a better 48 hours. I've been happy since day one. It's not that tonight I'm not happy. I am happy. Thank you very much. All right. Enzo Maresca is asked, has he spoke to the sporting directors? No. As I said yesterday, I started to prepare Cardiff. The day after Everton, I didn't speak with anyone. This is interesting because I have heard that he has spoken. So I don't know. Enzo Maresca on the journey back to Cobham. Now we have 3 hours to arrive to Cobham. I will watch 2 Newcastle games. There is no time. Time is for the players. For us as staff, we're going to be focused on the next one. That is Newcastle. So we're going to prepare. Think about that, guys. Think about that. Like, we're all sat here. We're like, oh, Maresca's done this right. He's done this wrong. He's done this. He's done that. Think about it. He's on the way home now from the game at 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., and he's watching Newcastle games. Think about it. So I missed a few more of your messages. Yeah, I agree. He didn't see as much of the ball. More play went through the left at that point. I'm not sure you're talking about. Oh, you mean Pedro Neto? Yeah, sure. Garnacho needs a massive improvement finishing. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, like we talked about. Great thing is Garnacho is a big chance magnet. Yes, he's an XG magnet. They always fall to him. And why? Because his movement is elite. Yes, sometimes his touch lets him down. Even though on average, I would say he has got a very good touch. But sometimes his touch lets him down. Sometimes if pass lets him down. Sometimes the finish lets him down. But he always gets the chances. He's the guy that gets in those situations. Garnacho off-ball movements are great. There you go. That's exactly it. Now, this is an interesting point, Ricky. No, I don't think so at all. He asks, do you think this game was huge for Maresca not to get sacked? Seeing the turmoil seemingly brewing behind the scenes. Now, if Maresca does get sacked, which I think at this stage is extremely unlikely, it will not be for sporting merit. There's no sporting reasons to sack him. He literally won a trophy in July. He is currently in the top 4, which is the expectation, and he is in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. So, okay, say we lost today. But even still, we would be meeting expectations. Maybe not in the Champions League quite, but to be honest, we were always going to be in and around between 5th and 12th in the Champions League. We were not going to be on the top teams, and we were not going to be like miles away. Do you know what I mean? It was always going to be like that. So I don't think so. In my head, it's only about can they, sort out their differences by the time we get to the summer. I don't think unless results go insanely bad or Maresca goes insanely bonkers in press conferences about the owners or anybody else, unless that happens, I'm pretty sure he stays until the end of the season. But he might be leaving at the end of the season, which I wouldn't be a fan of, but hey, that's a whole different thing. Someone said between City and Brentford, but I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they will only be decided tomorrow because the rest of the games are tomorrow. But that's good because he needs to come up with something. 12:30 kickoff before Christmas. I don't like it, mate. There's absolutely no chance we get anything. If we get a point at Newcastle Saturday, I am buzzing my tits off. Absolutely buzzing my tits off. No chance in my mind. Absolutely no chance. But yeah, let me just see. Was that the last message from the manager? Yes, it was. On that note, I will give him a rating of 8 today, because it was still not that great of an opponent, so I can't overdo it. But I will give him a rating of 8 because he rotated the whole team, gave everybody rest, and we still won the game in the end comfortably and deservedly. You know? So everything he did worked out. And the subs that he brought off the bench all did well. All of them got goal contributions. Malagusto got a goal contribution against us. Garnacho scored 2, Pedro Neto scored 1, João Pedro got an assist. You know what I mean? They all did well. So big up Enzo Maresca. I think he did a good job today, and I very much back him, and I very much back the man to the hilt, by the way. I'm not laying off this. Now, I said this already now a minute ago. If we get to the point of being in March and we know the manager's leaving at the summer, I'm not sure if we will know, but maybe. And if we do, I will not like it. Because what am I backing a manager for who's leaving? You know? Now I don't know he's leaving, so I'm backing him. But if I ever find out he's leaving, then what's the point of backing him? Do you know what I mean? Obviously for certain big games and stuff, and I feel like that's why I hope he stays, because eventually that feeling will, get through. And the intensity levels of the team will drop, unless they really want to send him off nicely. But I don't think it's going to be one of those. Ricky says, I really hope Maresca stays for a few more years. Haven't had a proper manager since Tuchel was sacked. Yep. Absolutely. Demon says, Caicedo, another terrible yellow card for mocking the ref. Now I missed the first leg of the semi-final. These some yellow cards need to stop. Yeah, I spoke about this earlier, Demon. Absolutely shocking. Disgraceful from him. Needs to get slapped in the face, quite frankly. Needs to be fined. Needs to be all sorts. That is so stupid. And, of course it's stupid anyway. Let's say it really wasn't a foul by Hato, then he still shouldn't let it himself come to that. But the fact of the matter is, it was a foul, and it was a blatant, clear, and obvious foul as well. I don't know what angle Caicedo had, but it was a clear foul. So I don't know what he's trying to do. Ironically, capping the ref when he literally made a right decision. So that was a stinker. I can't lie. It was a stinker for me. But on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's already after midnight. Christmas coming soon. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. I'd very much appreciate that. I really would. I would also appreciate it if you could tune in on Saturday after the Newcastle game. Of course, we'll be back after every single game. So make sure you set your notifications and get involved. Probably for less of a happy one than this one. Because, like I say, I'd be buzzing if we even get a draw. But I'll take it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards. Carabao Cup semi-finalists. Third semi-final into Maresca's Chelsea career. And one step closer to a trophy. 3 games away from a trophy. Obviously, difficult teams waiting, but just 3 games away from a trophy. And imagine that. Imagine that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I will see you next time. Let's go. Come on, Chelsea. Hi, Fritz. Ich bin jetzt fertig.